What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to break down and compare the 5 hottest podcast hosting softwares on the market today. We're going to be looking over their pricing, their biggest features, their biggest drawbacks, their affiliate program, and whether or not they do video podcasting. And we're going to be comparing them all together, laying it all out for you so that you can make the best decision for your podcast. Let's dive in. All right, so we're going to be breaking these podcast hosting softwares down by 5 key criteria. All right, so we're going to go over the pricing, the top features, the top drawbacks, the affiliate program, and whether or not they host or support video podcasting. So the first one we're going to cover is Captivate FM or Captivate.fm. Now, I personally use Captivate.fm. I love Captivate. Previous to that, I was using Libsyn. Libsyn was pretty good too. And then I've also tested out Simplecast, which we're not going to cover in this video. However, go into why, for me, Captivate was a good solution and also hitting these 5 criteria. Number one, their pricing starts at $17 a month if you're paying for the annual plan. If you're doing the month-to-month plan, it's actually $19 a month, so not a huge bank breaker there. It can scale all the way up to $99 per month, and that's if you're doing, I think, around 300,000 downloads per month, which I don't think a lot of people these days are doing. If you are someone in that situation, then great, congrats. I don't think you'll have too much trouble paying for the $100 a month plan. So that is the pricing. As far as free trial, if you wanted to test it out, they do offer a 7-day free trial here, so you can kick the tires and really just see if you like it, see if it's everything you want it to be. So there is that option. When it comes to features, some of the things I do love about Captivate, and it's one of the reasons why I picked them, is number one, they don't limit the features or anything that you would get on a professional plan. And I'll show you here. Everything you see on the $17 plan is the same as on the business plan at $90 a month if you pay for the entire year. So that's really, really cool. So no matter if you're paying $17 or $90, you're getting all the features, you're getting all the support you need. Nothing changes. A lot of these hosting providers, as we'll go through here, they will promote really great features. However, they're only available on the most expensive, which kind of sucks, right? Especially if you're getting started. So it's the reason why we have or recommend it to our clients, as well as I use it myself. I've been using it for a couple of years now. So that's the first thing. The second thing is they don't limit the amount of episodes or the amount of content that you can upload. So some places will limit you by the number of hours. So let's just say you have a super long podcast that every episode is like 2 hours per episode. You may only be able to upload 1 or 2 episodes per month if you're on a cheaper plan at other places. With Captivate, you can upload as many episodes as you want, however much time the episodes are, it doesn't matter. So that's a really cool feature that's, just unlimited storage, right? You don't have to worry about going over your outages. I remember in the past with other softwares we were using, sometimes we'd have to ask clients to upgrade their plans just so that you can upload the podcast for that week if you have a month where there's 5 weeks in a month, right? So it kind of gets a little screwy there if you're getting close to that threshold of maximum number of hours you can upload. Third here is they have a lot of free resources. So if you go to resources here in this resource tab, they've got a great YouTube channel. Check them out for sure. And then also they have a lot of free courses, right? So you can go into like the how to start a podcast section. They have a free podcasting course. So they do a good job of really training and teaching. And I know Mark is, I've watched a lot of Mark's stuff. He's a great educator. He's a great podcaster himself. So he's giving out a lot of great free content. So they've really built that into an extensive resource. So if you don't know where to begin, Captivate's a great free resource you can check out. Next, and I did a video on this previously. I don't know if it's probably somewhere around here on our YouTube channel. We'll make sure we link it below. And that is you can add unlimited team members. So if you have 10 people working on your podcast, you can give them all direct access. You don't have to share your access, which is great because if you are sharing your credentials, people can see your credit card. They can see a lot of personal information, which you probably don't want them to see. So with this, you can give them their own logins and they don't have to ever see your personal information. And when they leave your team, or if they leave your team, you can remove them securely from the account without any issues. Next, a few tools that I love and I've used for not only myself, but also our clients is their dynamic ad insertion tool. So this allows you to slot in commercials. Let's just say you're running a promotion this month for 25% off on Labor Day, some kind of Labor Day sale or any kind of sale, really. You can slot ads into all of your past podcasts, pretty easily with Captivate's Amy. It's called Amy. It's I'm gonna butcher the name, but it's basically dynamic ad insertion. There's a couple different ways you can do it, and I know there's some pretty good tutorials on how to slot those ads in. I've actually done some tutorials myself on how to train our team and clients on how to do it. So if we have them out, we'll link those below. So if you guys want to check those videos out, you can learn how to slot in ads using Captivate. And then last but not least, their support is very responsive. I've been working with them for a couple of years. Like I said, I've had to go to their support a lot, and they're always super helpful and really respectful. So I appreciate that their turnaround time is typically around 4 to 5 hours, I believe. And you also get email support as well. So like they'll email you and say, hey, like, are you done with this? Is there anything else you need help with? And kind of make sure you get closed out properly. A few drawbacks for Captivate, some things I don't like. The only thing I can think of right now is that they don't offer video podcasting. So I can't upload my YouTube video here and it can't auto-publish to YouTube, which is a very unique feature. I only know one other podcast hosting provider that does that. So it's not a huge drawback at the end of the day. Affiliate program, the last thing we'll note off here is the affiliate program. They do have a recurring 25% commission affiliate program. So if you have people sign up underneath you, then you will make a 25% commission on that, whatever plan they pick, until they cancel. That is everything on Captivate. Let's hop over now into Buzzsprout. All right. So Buzzsprout is a very, very popular name. I'd say it's probably the most popular podcast hosting provider. I know tons of people use it. Pat Flynn uses it. A lot of other bigger podcasters do use it. And for a good reason. They have very simple and fair pricing. They're always coming out with new features, and they have a really simple interface that's easy to use. All right. So let's cover the pricing first here. The pricing starts from free. The free plan, obviously, you can kick the tires with that and try it out, all the way up to $24 a month, which is not much at all. They do limit your uploads. So what I mean by that is if you have more than 12 hours of content per month, then you can do more content at $2 per hour, right? So it's not a huge bust, but if you have a big podcast, it's like 3-4 hours long, you may have to pay more. Generally, most people won't have to worry about that though. A couple other things when it comes to the features here. They have a really cool feature called Magic Mastering. So this is kind of like, instead of having to produce your podcast in Adobe or produce your podcast in Auphonic or something else, you can go here, upload your podcast, and it'll help level out the show. It'll help clean up some of the background noise and do some of that basic stuff to make sure your audio sounds great. The only thing I'll hold off on that. So we'll get to that thing drawback later here. A couple of things I do like about Buzzsprout. So if you go up here to Buzzsprout ads, they actually have a way for you to slot in ads to other podcasts, right? So you can actually pay for ads on other shows, which is a really cool growth tool. Have not tried it yet. I've heard other people have tried it with mixed results. But again, it's another feature that most podcast hosting providers do not have there for you. They are helping people build and grow their podcast, not just do the basics. Besides that, just like Captivate we saw, you can have unlimited team members in here, which is really, really cool. So you don't have to worry about sharing your personal information. And then last but not least, they do allow you to accept payments. So what I mean by that is if you can build a subscriber base, and you can have people pay you on a monthly subscription, kind of similar to like Apple premium subscriptions or Spotify premium subscriptions. You can do the same thing here. Instead of having to cut a percentage to like Apple or Spotify, though, you're going to be taking most of that money in minus probably the processing fees. They do have the ability for you to accept payments for premium content, which is really, really cool. I forgot to mention Captivate, I think, has a similar thing where you can create a private podcast. I don't think you can actually create like a payment link where people can pay for it, but you can create private podcasts there. Some draw plans here that I see for me when looking at Buzzsprout as a podcaster. Their free plan is very limited. So one thing I didn't like was like episodes are only hosted for 90 days. So you can't have a free plan and just have like one podcast episode a month, because it will actually expire in 90 days. So the storage is super limited. So it kind of almost forces you to start with the $12 plan if you're going to have a podcast that's going to last more than 90 days. So that's fine. It's not too much either way. But that was one big drawback for me. Another thing here that I thought was kind of a bust was that they don't offer a annual plan. So if you wanted to save money and buy the annual plan and, pay a little bit less like other places, you can't do that here. They only offer the month-to-month option. And now on to the affiliate program. So for the affiliate program, they do offer a $20 per account. One thing I do like about the recurring affiliate program, is that you can actually incentivize the person who gets referred. So with their account, their affiliate program, you get paid $20, and then the person who gets referred is going to get a $20 what they call Buzzsprout money, or Buzzsprout bucks, I think it's called, cash. So they get like Buzzsprout bucks. I'm going to call it that. I don't think it's the right word, but essentially they can have $20 towards something they can buy inside of the Buzzsprout ecosystem. All right. And then last but not least, the other drawback here is that the Magic Mastering actually doesn't come with whatever account you get. So you actually have to pay extra for the Magic Mastering account, either $6, $9, or $12. So keep that in mind if you're considering using the Magic Mastering. It's going to cost a little bit extra if you want to use that. Outside of that, they don't support video podcasting, which is not a huge issue, because if you want a podcast on video, you probably should just put it on YouTube anyways. All right, next up we have Libsyn. So Libsyn's pricing is kind of similar to Buzzsprout, where they charge, per hour or by the hour. So you have $5, $15, $20, depending on how much time you actually need for your podcast. So if you're having a normal show that does, 4-hour-long episodes per month, you're probably going to go with the $15 plan. So it's great value for what you're getting. I have noticed that Libsyn has made some really cool updates to their software and some cool features. Some of the ones that I like is that they've actually built in a recording and creation station. That sounds funny, creation station. But anyways, this kind of replaces Riverside or another software you would use like Zoom to record with a guest. I don't believe it supports video recording, so keep that in mind if you're going to use this tool. All right. One of the cool things they've built in, they've also allowed you to monetize your podcast. So now Libsyn's dynamic ad feature, so you can actually slot ads that are going to pay you for promotion on your podcast. So if you wanted to open up a mid-roll spot for a sponsor, you can actually do that with their new feature. All right. So if it's right over here on the monetization tab, in case you want to check it out. But again, that's one of the cool features they've added. And then secondly, you're also similar to Buzzsprout. You're able to charge people on a subscription basis for premium content. So if you wanted to have some kind of gated content or like a private area where people get like unique episodes that are not released to the public, you can actually do that with Libsyn now. So those are some really cool features that sets it apart. Libsyn's always been really good about reporting and stats. So they still have that. It's still one of their big things. They have the IAB verified stats, which I think nowadays pretty much everyone has, but they are, I know Libsyn's kind of the first, or one of the first ones to get that as far as stats and analytics. And then besides that, one of the things I would say that is pretty cool that they've added here is a Canva integration. So if you use Canva for your podcast, for any kind of episode specific artwork, you can actually integrate your Libsyn account with your Canva account, and then it can just make the creation of those episode artwork pieces much, much easier. So I think it's a really cool tool for people who are building out their own artwork as well. One of the cool things I think that's different from Captivate and Buzzsprout is that Libsyn actually supports video podcasting. So if you wanted to store your video files here, or you wanted them to go out to like say Apple Podcasts or other places, then you can actually do that here. I think there's some other places as well you can use these video podcasts. So if you do find that a useful feature, you can totally invest in that. It is obviously a little bit more pricey. So keep in mind, it's going to be $40, $75, or $150 for 55 hours if you want. That is the main things. The drawbacks that I think for me come to mind when it comes to Libsyn is that number one, they have limited storage. So going back to this plan here, if you have a daily show, this is probably not going to work for you unless your episode's like 1 minute long. So daily shows or shows that are doing 2, 3, 4 episodes a week, probably going to be a little bit more expensive for you to use Libsyn, even though you're not really getting any other super cool features. So that's one of the big things. And then obviously we mentioned before that the remote hosting or remote podcast recording is only audio as of right now, still in beta, as you can see. Now, the last thing we'll mention here is the affiliate program. So the affiliate program is pretty unique. They have a 100% commission model, meaning you're going to make that first month. So it's 100% of whatever the person signs up for. And then after that, you don't get anything. So it's not a recurring commission model. It is actually a model where you're going to get paid that upfront piece, and then you're not going to get paid anything else. For me personally, I like to get paid on recurring commission. That's probably most people do, even if it's a smaller amount. I like that just consistent drip of cash every single month. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about Libsyn. If you are going to be planning on promoting them to other people, that is one thing to definitely consider. All right, so next we have Transistor. So Transistor is kind of unique in it promotes itself as the go-to podcast hosting platform for people with multiple shows. So a guy like me who has multiple shows, I'm kind of their target audience. Now, as far as pricing goes, Transistor ranges from $19 a month to $99 a month. If you're paying annually, it is a little bit cheaper. I think they basically they pay for the price of 10. Yeah. So you basically pay for 10 months as opposed to paying for 12 months if you're on that yearly program. Now, a few of the big features that I think sets them apart from other people in the space, Transistor allows you to auto-publish to YouTube, which I've never seen. As far as I've never seen anyone else do. Not Captivate, not Libsyn, not Buzzsprout. No one else does this. So you are actually able to promote or publish a podcast that's audio only with a specific image that you choose to YouTube. So if you have an audio only show, and you want to promote it and publish it to YouTube without having to create video, you can do this with Transistor. It'll allow you to create an image or pick an image that they provide and allow you to auto-publish that video. So that's really, really cool. Besides that, they have something called dynamic show notes, which I've never seen anyone do. Basically, it's the same idea as dynamic ad insertion, where you can take one ad and slot it into all of your past episodes. With dynamic show notes, you can do the same thing. You can add different links or promotions or, different things you want to share to your audience inside of your show notes to, all the way up to all of your past episodes. So that's a really useful tool as well. And then you also have dynamic ad insertion. So just like we saw with Captivate, where you can actually slot in those ads in the pre-roll, in the mid-roll, and the post-roll into your entire catalog or back library, you can do the same here. Like the cool thing is that now you can do the same thing with your show notes. That's the big feature that jumps out to me. Besides that, they do allow for private podcasting. So if you're a company out there that's looking to have an internal podcast for your clients, for your team members, or just for training purposes, you can also do that here with Transistor. And they actually have a pretty extensive model or video tutorial on how to set those up, which I really appreciate. And last but not least, live customer support. And then just like a few other companies we saw here already, is that they have the unlimited members. So they have unlimited members for your team. So you can add however many people you want, and it's not going to cost you more. Some of the drawbacks for Transistor. Number one, their dynamic ads and show notes. For using that feature, you're going to have to be on this plan here. So this $49 professional plan at the minimum. So it's not going to come on the starter, where you would get that. You get all the features on other places. So if you're using or planning on using the show note, dynamic ad insertion, or the dynamic audio ad insertion, you are going to have to use the professional or the business selection here in order to use those. And that's pretty much it for that. So in affiliate programs here, you can earn a 25% commission per month, which is great. So it's just like Captivate. You're going to earn recurring commission for whoever buys it. I think the cool thing here is that a lot of people are probably going to be enticed to want to pick the professional if they're planning on using these different features that we talked about, like the dynamic ad insertion and the dynamic show notes insertion. So you could maybe earn a higher commission here if you are planning on promoting them. And when it comes to video podcasting, they don't support video podcasting per se, but you kind of do, because they can promote or publish your podcast onto YouTube. And even if it's an MP3, they can do that. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to say their video podcasting abilities is a kind of, because you can take your audio files, turn them into YouTube videos, but you can't really store YouTube video files here. All right. So that is it for for Transistor. On to our last but not least, Anchor.fm. Anchor.fm no longer really exists. It's actually now called Spotify for podcasters. So Spotify for podcasters is now basically what Anchor used to be. Essentially, this is a free tool. All right. So a lot of people, if you're a hobbyist podcaster, if you want to just kick the tires, if you don't know if podcasting is for you, if you aren't serious to the point where you're building a business behind it, then I'd say Spotify for podcasters is probably the best choice. It's free. It gives you a lot of really cool tools, and it allows you to pretty much do everything you need from the app on your phone, which is great because you don't have to invest in equipment. You don't have to learn new things when it comes to setting up the equipment or using the equipment. So it does have those really, really good perks when it comes to using Anchor, which is now Spotify for podcasters. A couple of the features that I love and I think are really, really different and unique that Spotify is building into this new platform is, number one, it allows you to do video podcasting. So if I wanted to do video podcasting, I could do video podcasting with my phone, and then I could publish that to Spotify. Now, it's not going to go other places. It's not going to go to Overcast or Apple or Google Podcasts, but my video podcast will be available to people inside of Spotify. All right, so that's really, really cool. The second thing is they have a tool called Music Plus Talk. This allows you to mix music into your podcast while it's playing. So you could have a really cool song that's on Spotify, and you can mix that onto your podcast. The only problem is you cannot use that song or that podcast anywhere else. Like I can't take it to Apple or somewhere else that's a podcast directory and use that same file, because it's going to have that music on there that is exclusive to Spotify. Next, super robust app. So the Anchor, or now Spotify for Podcasters app, is actually really robust. You can do pretty much everything with it, which is really, really nice. Like I said about the equipment. However, it is a little clunky if you are someone who is wanting to start a podcast and it's for business purposes. I don't suggest using Spotify or using Spotify for Podcasters. I do suggest them like Captivate or Buzzsprout or Transistor or Libsyn. If you're a hobbyist though, being able to use just your phone for doing the recording, doing the mixing, doing the publishing is probably really, really useful. But not if you're going to be doing this and you want to kind of get somebody else to do it, right? Because then it has to be on their phone and it's kind of clunky. Of course, they do have the desktop version as well, which you can use as well. So that is it. For what it's worth, if you're a hobbyist, I think the app is probably really, really cool and useful because you don't have to sit at your desktop to create a podcast. The last thing I'll mention here when it comes to features for Spotify for Podcasters, they do make it quite easy to monetize. And you mainly can monetize through two ways. So number one, you can monetize through subscribers with your content. So you can actually have people give you money or subscribe to your podcast and pay you a monthly subscription, similar to what we saw with Buzzsprout. All right. That's a cool thing there. I think they do take around 30% of the revenue. So if you're charging $10, you're only going to make around $7 per month, depending on what you're charging. So keep that in mind. They do take around 30%. It could have changed since the time of this recording, but from last I checked, it was 30%. And then the last way you can monetize is through advertising. So you can allow Spotify to put ads in your show and you can make money off of them. I don't know too many people who have made a ton of money off of them. I think it's kind of like YouTube AdSense, where you're not making tons, but you can make a little bit, maybe 10, 20, 30, $40 here. If you have a massive show, we're talking maybe 40, 30, or 30, 40, 50,000 downloads, you're probably going to make a lot more than that. But for most people starting out, it's not going to be a huge moneymaker. So keep that in mind. Okay, some of the biggest drawbacks for Spotify for podcasters. Number one, they do offer unlimited uploading, so unlimited hosting, but every file you upload has to be 2 hours or less. So you have a long podcast, if it goes over 2 hours, you're not going to be able to use it. And then next, you actually do own your podcast on Spotify for Podcasters. However, they are able to use it, meaning they can slot ads in as they please. They can put banner ads above or below your podcast. So it's not going to be an ad-free listening experience unless somebody is subscribed to Spotify Premium and where they just don't have ads. So keep that in mind. They are going to put ads in front of your stuff. So it's not going to be an ad-free listening environment for your listener. And then in terms of promoting Spotify for Podcasters, since it's free, there really is no commission for you to sign up. However, you are able to monetize your show via the ads and also via the paid subscriptions from your subscribers. And then last but not least, when it comes to video podcasting, as we mentioned, yes, you can. However, it only is going to live on Spotify. So there you have it. Those are the 5 podcast hosting providers to check out in 2023. The prices, the features, the drawbacks, whether or not they do have an affiliate program, and if they do, video podcasting.